Right now on Sunrise at 6:30, honoring the youngest victim of the Mother Emanuel AME shooting, what his family is doing to celebrate his heroism as the community commemorates the 4th anniversary today.
Plus, if you're hailing an Uber or Lyft, make sure your driver is following the law, the new requirements and the punishments if not followed. But before we get to those headlines, let's check on your work week forecast with meteorologist Tim Miller. He's happy. Happy Monday, Tim.
Happy Monday. Exactly. You got to be happy it's Monday. First off, we had a great weekend. Let's get you caught up now on some more headlines. Back to Leland and Emily.
Thank you, Tim. Our top story this morning, family, friends, survivors, and the community are coming together to remember the 9 lives lost exactly 4 years ago today at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston. The youngest victim was 26-year-old Tywanza Sanders. He's often regarded as a hero who helped save lives on that tragic day. His family and friends have started a foundation in his name, which provides educational opportunity. His father, Tyrone Sanders, says that work has been helpful and inspiring, but he wishes he could have done more.
The Lion King, Endless Night, it talks about, your father wasn't there nowhere when he's crying out for help. It's hard for me to heal in the phantom that a guy done this to my son, my aunt, cousins, and the other 6 in the church. It's hard to heal.
On July 20th, the Tywanza Legacy Foundation will present 2 scholarships to 2 high school students.
Over the weekend, community leaders came together to talk about bridging the racial divide in the wake of that deadly shooting. The common theme among speakers, change. Officials say they demand actions be taken so that a mass hate crime never devastates Charleston again. Mother Emanuel AME's Reverend Eric Manning says the more resources made available to those who are troubled, the better. He was joined by other community leaders who have experienced gun violence.
It's going to happen again in a house of worship. I just feel it.
Treat all people with dignity and respect. We must create no additional harms, and we must always focus on the superordinate goal of making things better.
The speakers say they will mourn while not forgetting what changes they need to make. Ahead on Sunrise, details on a special showing of the Emanuel documentary happening right here in the capital city. We also have more information about today's event at WIS-TV.com right now. You can also head to our news app to get those details.
All new on Sunrise, a live look from Capitol Hill, where lawmakers are discussing a new rideshare safety law in honor of slain USC student Samantha Josephson. The bill, called Sammy's Law, would compel states to require illuminated signs on all rideshare vehicles. Right now, the bill sits in a House subcommittee. And this coming as Uber and Lyft drivers in our state are now mandated to have front license plates on their vehicles. The front license plates will allow passengers to more easily match the plate number to the one shown on their app. The hope is that this will make ride sharing safer. Police say Samantha Josephson got into a car that she believed was her Uber. She was later found dead in Clarendon County. Nathaniel Rowland is charged in connection with that murder. Those who do not have that front license plate could be charged with a misdemeanor and or fined more than $1,000.
Timothy Jones Jr. is now the 38th name on the official death row roster in South Carolina. The 72-hour mandatory suicide watch ended over the weekend. Jones was convicted of murdering his 5 children in 2014, and he's currently in custody at the Kirkland Correctional Institution, where death row inmates are housed. The average time spent on death row is more than 18 years. If that guilty verdict holds for after 20 days, Jones' attorneys can appeal all the way up to the state Supreme Court. If their request is granted, a new trial begins all over again. But if it is not granted, all options would have been exhausted and Jones would remain on death row. The state of South Carolina has not executed a death row inmate since 2011. You can read our full coverage of this story right now at WIS-TV.com and in the mobile news app.
Richland County deputies say they need your help to track down a man wanted for robbery. Deputies say they're looking for Anthony Summers for a robbery that happened on June 3rd at a restaurant in Eastover. They say Summers threatened the manager as she was closing up, causing her to drop her belongings. Investigators say as Summers snatched up her things, the woman shot at Summers as he took off running. If you know where he might be, call Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC. Right now, 2 people are without a home after a fire over the weekend. The Columbia Fire Department tweeted out this photo of that fire on Marsh Deer Way Friday night. Officials say they found a cigarette lighter in one of the rooms on the 2nd floor caused that fire.
Well, a new trend is on the rise for those looking to earn money on the side.
And it involves renting out your car to complete strangers.
Well, Friday and Saturday, with high pressure to the north, we had some incredible weather, right? Overnight lows in the 50s. It was wonderful. The high moved off towards the east on Sunday. Notice the clouds started to billow up. Well, now it's well off towards the east. These clouds will billow up into storms starting today into the rest of the week. We'll detail your forecast coming up.
This is new on Sunrise. New data shows nearly half of American workers are earning extra income on the side.
Yeah, Chris Clackham says this includes renting an expensive part of your life when you're not using it.
Either because they want to or need the extra money.
Card sharing companies are facing major resistance from the $30 billion a year car rental industry. In fact, lawmakers in 34 states are considering bills that would require companies like Turo to play by the rules established for rental car companies, paying the same taxes and following the same safety requirements. Sounds a bit familiar with when Uber came on the scene, how taxi companies felt.
We're not happy about it.
Interesting. All right. Well, Boeing is taking responsibility for problems that led up to 2 deadly plane crashes overseas.
What they're saying about the technical issues plaguing their 737 MAX plane still out of commission. 25 years ago today, the car chase that captured the attention of an estimated 95 million people took place. Former NFL player O.J. Simpson led the LAPD on a slow-speed chase around the Los Angeles area in the now infamous white Ford Bronco. Simpson was charged with the murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman. Simpson insisted he was not running from the police and after 3 hours returned to his home where he surrendered. He was found not guilty but was later found liable for the deaths in order to pay surviving family members $33.5 million. The Bronco is currently on display at a museum in Tennessee. Parts of the U.S. will be in cleanup mode this morning after storms left a path of destruction over the weekend. Video now out of Arlington, Texas, where several homes were damaged, utility poles knocked down, and trees uprooted. No injuries were reported in the immediate aftermath of this storm. And in Indiana, the National Weather Service says 5 tornadoes touched down over the past 2 days. Take a look at this drone video showing the extensive damage in the small town of Beech Grove. The mayor says no injuries have been reported.
Somber celebrations taking place in both Charleston and Columbia.
Details on the events commemorating the 4th anniversary of the Mother Emanuel AME shooting. 10 minutes of news you need to know before heading out the door.
Top stories now. Today marks exactly 4 years since the horrific shooting at Mother Emanuel AME Church. 9 people lost their lives that day in downtown Charleston. And right now, here's a live look at the church. The tragedy claimed the lives of Senator Clementa Pinckney, Cynthia Graham Hurd, Susie Jackson, Tawanza Sanders, Ethel Lance, DePayne Middleton Doctor, Daniel L. Simmons Sr., Sharonda Singleton, and Myra Thompson. They were shot and killed by self-declared white supremacist Dylan Roof during a Bible study in 2015. Roof is now on death row after being sentenced by a federal jury in 2017.
And a special documentary marking the 4th anniversary of that church massacre will only show in theaters across the country today and Wednesday. That includes a special one-night showing tonight at Spotlight Cinemas at the Meeting Place Church. Here's parts of that film now, but a warning that some images are difficult to see.
When we close our eye to pray, that when he lit up the room.
Blood on the leaves.
Bear with me, okay? How many shots has he fired?
He's reloading.
He's reloading.
And blood at the roots.
Tonight's tickets were offered at a discounted rate of $5 rather than the standard rate of $12.50, which is being charged nationwide. That's thanks to a collaboration between the Meeting Place Church, Spotlight Cinemas Capitol 8, and Richland County Council. The film, produced by Steph Curry, Viola Davis, and Mariska Hargitay, will share the stories of witnesses, survivors, and family members affected by the Mother Emanuel AME Church massacre.
The intent of the producers and several others that have been behind making sure this story moves forward is to foster healing discourse. There's an opportunity for people to converse about what this has meant for our nation, how it's impacted them, and how we can all go forward and be better people in the face of what has been a horrible tragedy.
Tonight's attendees will leave with a handout to help facilitate discussions beyond today's screening. Before the film is shown, there will be a forum discussion with Bishop Freeman, a relative of one of the victims, the former assistant U.S. attorney who prosecuted the shooter, and our very own Judy Gatson. As of Friday, event organizers said they were just about sold out of the more than 400 tickets available for tonight. Tonight's event begins at 6:30. You can find more information on today's Emanuel showing right now on WIS-TV.com. Just click on this story on our homepage. It's also on your free WIS News app. Timothy Jones Jr. is now the 38th name on the official death row roster in the state of South Carolina, and that 72-hour mandatory suicide watch ended over the weekend. Jones was convicted of murdering his 5 children in 2014. He's currently in custody at Kirkland Correctional Institution, where death row inmates are housed. The average time spent on death row is more than 18 years. If that guilty verdict holds after 20 days, Jones' attorney can appeal all the way up to the state Supreme Court. If their request is granted, a new trial would begin all over again. But if it is not granted, all options would be exhausted and Jones would remain on death row. The state of South Carolina has not executed a death row inmate since 2011. You can read our full coverage on this story right now on your WIS News app. Richland County deputies say they need your help to track down a man wanted for robbery. Deputies say they're looking for Anthony Summers for a robbery that happened on June 3rd at a restaurant in Eastover. They say Summers threatened the manager as she was closing up, causing her to drop her belongings. And investigators say as Summers snatched up her things, the woman shot at Summers as he took off running. If you know where he might be, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. The number is 1-888-CRIME-SC.
Traffic, by the way, looks to be great this morning, and the accidents we had have been cleaned up. That's the frozen view of near Malfunction Junction, but it's looking fine. We have a big winner here.
We do, several big winners. So before we head out the door, a big congrats to our WIS team celebrating 2 Emmy wins. Many of us were in Atlanta Saturday. Our team won for Best Daily Newscast for our coverage on the Amtrak crash last year. Also, congratulations to Jim Hayes and Laura Hensley from the WIS Promotion Department for their win. WIS was nominated for 14 Emmys this year. Really fun night in Atlanta.
Yes, indeed. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but we work so hard sometimes, so it's nice to when that happens for sure. Yeah. All right. Have a great morning. Thanks for watching. See you back here in 30 minutes.